The stars held their breath as 3,000 warships moved through the void like a plague of metal locusts. Admiral Torvin watched the tactical display from his command throne, each blinking dot representing a vessel under his command. 12. Different species had united for this moment, setting aside centuries of rivalry to crush the upstart humans once and for all. "Sir, we're receiving final position reports from all battle groups," reported his aide, a young officer whose scales gleamed under the bridge lighting. "The Vorthan Empire has deployed 800 ships along the northern approach. The Maltari Confederation holds the southern flank with 700 vessels. The remaining flotillas are positioned according to your battle plan." Torvin nodded. Slowly, his 4 eyes scanning the holographic representation of human space. 17 colonies had already fallen to their combined might over the past 2 years. Each victory had been swift and decisive, the human defenders overwhelmed by superior numbers and technology. Now only Earth remained, that stubborn blue world that refused to surrender despite facing impossible odds. "Intelligence reports from our scouts?" Torvin asked, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. 43 ships, sir. Perhaps 45 if they've managed to repair the vessels damaged at the Proxima engagement. Their largest vessel measures barely 2 kilometers in length. Most of their fleet consists of converted civilian craft and aging military escorts. Captain Rilith of the Vorthan Empire approached the tactical station, his reptilian features twisted in disdain. "Admiral, this is hardly worth the fuel we're burning. My battle group alone could handle their entire fleet. Why are we wasting time with such an elaborate deployment?" Commander Krex of the Maltari Confederation floated beside his hoverchair, his tentacles writhing with impatience. "I agree with Rilith. These humans have shown remarkable stubbornness, but stubbornness cannot overcome mathematics. We outnumber them 75 to 1. Their technology is primitive. Their ships are ancient. This should be a simple extermination." Torvin raised one clawed hand for silence. "Underestimating prey has destroyed many hunters, Commander. The humans have proven resourceful beyond their apparent capabilities. They've held us at bay for 2 years with inferior numbers and older ships. There's something about their tactical thinking that concerns me." The truth was more complex than Torvin would admit to his subordinates. Human resistance had been far more effective than anyone had predicted. Their ships moved with precision that suggested superior training. Their defensive strategies showed innovation that bordered on genius. Time and again, human commanders had found ways to inflict disproportionate casualties before being overwhelmed. "Perhaps," Krex replied, his voice carrying subtle mockery, "but innovation cannot overcome raw power. When we reach Earth, their creativity will mean nothing against 3,000 heavy warships." Light years away, Admiral Hayes studied the same tactical situation from Luna Station's command center. The converted mining facility buzzed with activity as technicians worked frantically to coordinate Earth's final defense. Every available vessel had been recalled from deep space patrols. Civilian ships had been hastily armed with military-grade weapons. The orbital defense platforms surrounding Earth hummed with maximum power. "Ma'am, we're receiving final reports from our perimeter scouts," Lieutenant Cole announced from his sensor station. His voice carried the tension that filled every corner of the command center. "The alien fleet has crossed the heliopause. They're maintaining formation but beginning their approach vector. Estimated time to weapons range is 18 hours. Hayes nodded grimly, her weathered face showing the strain of 2 years of constant warfare. "What's our final count?" 41 ships, Admiral. The repair crews managed to get the destroyer Hawk back online, but the cruiser Phoenix is still in dry. "Duck. We've got the orbital platforms, but their range is limited to near-Earth space." Captain Ross moved to stand beside Hayes, his gray hair reflecting the blue glow of the tactical displays. "It's not enough, Emma. We both know it's not enough. Even if every shot hits its mark, even if our people fight like demons, we can't stop 3,000 ships." Hayes turned to face the main display, where Earth hung like a blue jewel against the star field. "Then we make them pay for every meter." of space, we make them remember that humans don't go quietly into the dark. The command center fell silent except for the quiet hum of electronics and the distant whisper of life support systems. Everyone present understood the mathematics of their situation. Earth's defenders faced annihilation, but they would meet it with courage and determination. All ships are to maintain combat readiness, Hayes announced. I want every weapon charged. Every shield at maximum power. When they come, we'll show them what humans are made of. Back in the alien fleet, Admiral Torvin continued his methodical approach. His forces moved with the precision of a well-oiled machine, each battle group maintaining perfect formation. The combined fleet represented the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Victory seemed inevitable. Sir, his aide reported, we're detecting increased energy signatures from the human orbital installations. They're powering up their defensive systems. Expected, Torvin replied. They know we're coming. The question is whether they'll fight or surrender when they see our full strength. Captain Rilith laughed, a sound like grinding stone. These humans have never shown sense before. Why would they start now? They'll fight until the last ship is destroyed, then probably try to ram us with escape pods. Their determination is admirable, Commander Krex admitted grudgingly. Foolish, but admirable. It's almost a pity to destroy such a spirited species. Torvin said nothing, but privately he agreed. The humans had shown remarkable courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Their tactics were clever, their pilots skilled, their commanders resourceful. In another time, under different circumstances, they might have made valuable allies, but the Galactic Council had spoken. Humanity's rapid expansion and aggressive territorial claims threatened the established order. They had to be stopped before they became a genuine threat to the older civilizations. The irony was not lost on Torvin that it required 12 species working together to stop one young race. All ships report ready for final approach, his aide announced. Shall the first give the order to advance? Torvin looked once more at the tactical display, then at the blue dot representing Earth. Soon that world would be just another conquered planet, its people scattered or destroyed. The thought brought him no joy, but duty demanded action. Begin the final approach, he commanded. All ships maintain formation. We end this war today. The greatest fleet in galactic history began its death march toward Earth, unaware that everything they thought they knew about humanity was about to change forever. Space itself seemed to shudder as the massive alien armada crossed the orbit of Mars. 3,000 warships moved in perfect formation, their combined mass creating gravitational ripples that disturbed the delicate balance of the solar system. The red planet hung silent and empty, its mining colonies long since evacuated as the alien fleet approached their final target. Lieutenant Cole's hands trembled as he monitored the sensor arrays at Luna Station. The displays showed an approaching wall of death that stretched across millions of kilometers of space. Each blinking contact represented destruction beyond imagination, yet something else had caught his attention. Deep at the edge of the solar system, beyond the orbit of Pluto, his instruments detected an anomaly that made no sense. Admiral Hayes, Cole called out, his voice cracking with nervous energy. I'm picking up something strange on the long range. Sensors. There's a gravitational signature appearing at the system's edge. Hayes moved to his station, her experienced eyes scanning the readouts. Could be an asteroid. The Kuiper Belt has plenty of rocks that size. No, ma'am, Cole replied, adjusting the sensor focus. This is moving under power. The signature suggests something massive, but it's accelerating at impossible speeds. Look at this velocity curve. The data made Hayes pause. Whatever was out there was decelerating from near-light speed, shedding velocity in a way that should have torn any known ship apart. The gravitational mass suggested something enormous, far larger than anything in Earth's fleet registry. Across the void, Commander Krex noticed the same anomaly on his sensors. The Molteri's tentacles writhed with irritation as he studied the confusing readings. Sensor technician explained this malfunction. Sir, all systems are functioning normally, the young officer replied nervously. The readings show a massive object at the system's edge, but our intelligence indicates humans have never built anything larger than 2 kilometers. Then it's an asteroid, Krex declared dismissively. Focus on the real targets. But Admiral, Torvin felt a chill run down his spine as he examined the same data. His 4 eyes studied the display with growing unease. The object was moving with purpose, changing course to intercept their fleet. More disturbing, it was accelerating at rates that suggested technology far beyond human capabilities. Navigation officer, plot that object's trajectory, Torvin ordered. The results appeared on the main display moments later. The mysterious signature was on a direct intercept course with their fleet, arriving at Earth's orbital space at precisely the same time as their own forces. The timing was too perfect to be coincidental. Could be a trap, Captain Rilla suggested, his reptilian features showing concern for the first time. Perhaps they've built some kind of massive missile or a kinetic weapon. At 15 kilometers long, Torvin asked quietly. That's not a weapon, that's a ship. The alien fleet began to slow its advance as uncertainty crept through the ranks. Ship commanders demanded explanations from their superiors. The confident momentum of their assault wavered as they realized they might not know everything about their enemy. Back at Luna Station, Admiral Hayes stared at the impossible readings. The object's signature was unlike anything in their databases. Yet the IFF beacon clearly identified it as human. The ship's design parameters suggested technology that Earth scientists could only dream of creating. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Cole reported, his voice filled with wonder, "I'm getting partial visual contact. The object is... it's huge. The computer estimates length at nearly 20 kilometers. The whole composition is reading as unknown alloys." That's impossible," Captain Ross muttered, moving to peer over Cole's shoulder. "We don't have the industrial capacity to build something that size. Hell, we don't have the materials or the technology." Hayes felt a mixture of hope and confusion washing over her. If this was truly a human vessel, where had it come from? How had such a massive project remained secret while Earth fought desperately for survival? "Try to establish communication," she ordered. "If that's one of ours, I want to know who's commanding." It, the mysterious vessel, continued its approach, its massive form beginning to eclipse background stars. Long-range scans revealed glimpses of a hull that seemed to absorb light, composed of materials that defied identification. Weapon systems dotted its surface in configurations that suggested firepower beyond anything previously imagined. "Commander." Krex's irritation had transformed into genuine concern. "Admiral Torvin, we need to address this anomaly. My fleet commanders are becoming nervous." "As they should be," Torvin replied grimly. "We're facing something we don't understand. Something that shouldn't exist." The alien fleet's advance slowed further as more ships detected the approaching Leviathan. Communication chatter increased across all channels as commanders struggled to process what their sensors were telling them. The massive human vessel appeared to be operating on principles that challenged their understanding of physics. "Sir," Torvin's aide reported, "the object is maintaining its intercept course. Our computers estimate it will reach Earth's orbital space in 6 hours. The same time as our main fleet," Torvin observed. "This is no coincidence." Captain Rillith's confidence had evaporated entirely. "Admiral, perhaps we should consider a tactical withdrawal. We can regroup and gather more intelligence about this new threat." "Withdrawal?" Commander Krex's tentacles lashed with anger. "We represent 12 species and 3,000 ships. We cannot be intimidated by a single unknown vessel." "But even..." As he spoke, Krex's voice carried less conviction than before. The mysterious ship's energy signature was unlike anything in their databases. Its size suggested capabilities that could challenge their entire fleet. At Luna Station, Lieutenant. Cole's excitement was palpable. "Admiral, I'm detecting massive power buildup from the unknown vessel. Its energy output is off the charts?" Hayes studied the readings with growing amazement. "How is that possible? What kind of power source could generate that much energy?" "I don't know, ma'am," Cole replied. "But whatever it is, it's come in this way fast." the alien fleet found itself in an impossible position. They had come to destroy humanity's last stronghold, only to discover that humanity might possess capabilities beyond their wildest fears. The unknown vessel approached like a shadow of death, its presence transforming the entire tactical situation. Admiral Torvin made a decision that would reshape the course of galactic history. All ships assume defensive formations. We proceed with caution until we understand what we're facing. The order rippled through the alien fleet, 3,000 warships shifting from attack formation to defensive posture. The hunters had become the hunted, and they didn't even know what was stalking them. In the darkness of space, the massive human vessel continued its approach, its hull drinking in starlight as it prepared to reveal secrets that would shatter everything the galaxy thought it knew about humanity. The war was about to take a turn that none of them could have imagined. Darkness gave birth to a titan as the massive vessel emerged from the void like a prehistoric beast rising from the depths of an ancient ocean. The UES Titan stretched nearly 20 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull a masterwork of engineering that seemed to bend light around its edges. Weapon systems lined its surface in configurations that spoke of destructive potential beyond imagination, while its shield generators hummed with barely contained power. The sight of the colossal ship sent shockwaves through both fleets. Alien commanders stared in disbelief at their tactical displays, unable to process what their sensors were reporting. Human defenders watched in stunned silence as their impossible savior positioned itself between Earth and the approaching armada. Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Hayes of Luna Station, came the transmission across all frequencies. Please identify yourself and state your intentions. The response came in a voice that carried calm authority despite the magnitude of the situation. Luna Station, this is Captain Wade of the UES Titan. We are here to protect Earth and her colonies from hostile forces. Admiral Torvin felt his four hearts beating rapidly as he studied the massive human vessel. Impossible, he whispered. Our intelligence indicated no human ship larger than 2 kilometers. Where did this monster come from? Captain Wade's voice cut through the confusion as he opened communications to both fleets simultaneously. To the alien fleet threatening Earth, and to the brave defenders of humanity, I bring greetings from the Deep Space Exploration Initiative. For the past 15 years, while conflict has raged in the inner systems, human engineers have been working beyond the galaxy's edge to ensure our species' survival. The revelation hit like a physical blow. Admiral Hayes felt her legs weaken as the implications sank in. Deep Space Exploration Initiative? We have no record of such a program. The project was classified above your security clearance, Admiral. Wade replied. While Earth fought desperately to defend her colonies, we were building the tools necessary to secure humanity's future. The Titan is the first of 12 vessels constructed in shipyards beyond the galactic rim. Commander Crex's tentacles writhed with fury and disbelief. You're lying. No species could develop such technology in secret. Our intelligence networks monitor all industrial activity in human space. Your intelligence networks monitor known human space, Wade corrected. The Deep Space Initiative operates from facilities you've never discovered, using resources you've never cataloged. We've been watching your war, learning from your tactics, preparing for this moment. The alien fleet commander struggled to process this revelation. Admiral Torvin's tactical genius had been built on perfect intelligence, complete knowledge of enemy capabilities. Now he faced a foe whose true strength remained hidden in the darkness beyond the stars. Sir, Torvin's aide reported with barely controlled panic, the ship's technology readings are impossible. The hull composition shows materials not in our databases. Energy output suggests power generation beyond our theoretical maximums. Weapon signatures indicate capabilities that could challenge our entire fleet. Captain Rilith's reptilian features had gone pale. Admiral, we need to reassess our entire strategic position. If they have 11 more ships like this one, then we're facing an enemy that has surpassed us in every conceivable way. Torvin finished grimly. The Titan's massive form blocked out stars as it settled into position between Earth and the alien armada. Its presence transformed the tactical situation completely, turning a desperate last stand into something else entirely. The ship's weapon systems remained powered but not targeted, a show of strength tempered by restraint. "Earth's defenders stand down from combat alert," Captain Wade announced. "We have the situation under control." Admiral Hayes found her voice despite the overwhelming emotions coursing through her. "Captain Wade, where have you been?" "We've been fighting for our lives for 2 years. Earth needed help, and you were nowhere to be found." "We were where we needed to be," Wade replied, his tone carrying subtle sadness. "Building the future that would ensure humanity's survival." The colonies that fell were painful losses, but they were necessary sacrifices to maintain our secret. If the alien coalition had known about the Deep Space Initiative, they would have sent forces to stop us before we could complete our work. The words hit like a slap across the face. Lieutenant Cole felt sick as he realized the implications. Thousands of colonists had died while Earth's greatest weapons remained hidden in the dark. "You let them die," Hayes whispered. "You let them all die to protect your secret." "We let them die to save our species," Wade corrected. "The choice was between losing some colonies or losing everything." "The mathematics were clear, Admiral. Sometimes command requires making decisions that haunt you forever." The alien fleet hung in space, their commanders paralyzed by uncertainty. They had come to crush humanity's final resistance, only to discover that humanity had evolved beyond their understanding. The Titan's presence suggested technological advancement that rendered their numerical superiority meaningless. "Captain Wade," Admiral Torvin broadcast on the command frequency, "I am Admiral Torvin of the Allied Coalition. Your ship is impressive, but you are still vastly outnumbered. We have 3,000 vessels under our command, and we have technology you can't comprehend," Wade replied calmly. "Your ships are armed with plasma cannons and particle beams. Your shields operate on principles we mastered decades ago. Your fastest vessels move at speeds we consider leisurely." The dismissive tone sent ripples of fear through the alien fleet. Their weapons and defenses, the pride of 12 civilizations, were being casually dismissed as obsolete technology. "You're bluffing," Commander Krex declared. "One ship cannot stand against 3,000, regardless of its size." "Perhaps," Wade acknowledged, "but you're about to find out. All alien vessels, you have one opportunity to withdraw from this system. Leave now, and we'll consider this a misunderstanding. Continue your approach, and we'll demonstrate why humanity has remained hidden until now." The alien fleet found itself facing an impossible choice. Retreat would mean admitting defeat without firing a shot, abandoning their carefully planned invasion because of a single enemy vessel. But advancing against an unknown threat could be suicidal. Admiral Torvin studied the tactical display, his mind racing through possibilities. The Titan's technology appeared generations ahead of anything in their databases. Its hull composition suggested materials that could resist their weapons. Its energy output indicated power systems that defied understanding. "All ships, maintain current position," he ordered. "We need more information before making any decisions." The two fleets hung in space, separated by millions of kilometers and a technological gap that seemed impossible to bridge. The Titan waited patiently, its massive form a silent testament to human ingenuity and determination. Captain Wade's voice cut through the tension once more. "Admiral Torvin, you have 10 minutes to begin your withdrawal. After that, we'll be forced to demonstrate why the Deep Space Initiative was created. I strongly advise you not to test our resolve." The countdown had begun, and with it, the fate of multiple civilizations hung in the balance. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity had been preparing for this moment far longer than anyone had imagined. Time crawled forward like a wounded animal as the 10-minute deadline approached. Admiral Torvin stared at the tactical display, his 4 eyes studying every detail of the massive human vessel. The Titan hung in space like a dark prophecy, its weapon systems powered but not yet targeted. The silence stretched across the void, broken only by the nervous chatter of ship commanders seeking guidance from their superiors. "Admiral," Captain Rillis' voice carried barely controlled fear. "We need to make a decision. My crews are getting nervous." "They've never seen anything like this ship?" Commander Krex's tentacles writhed with frustration. "We cannot retreat without testing their capabilities. If we withdraw now, we'll be admitting that one human vessel can defeat the combined might of 12 civilizations." Torvin felt the weight of command crushing down on him. Every decision he made would echo through galactic history. If he retreated, the alien coalition would dissolve in shame and recrimination. If he advanced, he might be leading 3,000 ships to their destruction. "Commander Krex," he said finally, "select 50 of your heaviest cruisers. Form a probe formation and test their defenses. We need to know what we're facing." "Sir," Krex replied, his voice carrying grim satisfaction, "my ships are ready." The probe fleet detached from the main formation like a spear point aimed at the heart of humanity. 50 heavy cruisers, each one a masterwork of Maltari engineering, began their approach toward the Titan, their weapons powered up to full charge, shields at maximum strength, sensors scanning for any sign of weakness in the human vessel. Lieutenant Cole watched the approaching alien ships with growing terror. "Admiral Hayes, 50 enemy vessels are breaking formation. They're heading directly for the Titan." Hayes felt her heart pounding as she realized what was about to happen. "Captain Wade, you have incoming hostiles. 50 heavy cruisers on intercept course?" "Acknowledged, Admiral," Wade replied, his voice calm as still water. "All Earth ships? Maintain current position. We'll handle this." The Titan remained motionless as the alien probe approached. Its massive bulk showed no signs of maneuvering, no indication of defensive postures. The ship simply waited, like a patient predator allowing its prey to come within striking distance. Commander Krex felt his confidence returning as his ships closed to weapons range. The human vessel was impressive, but it was still just one ship against 50 of his finest cruisers. "All ships maintain formation. Target their shield generators and weapon systems. We'll disable this monster and show the galaxy that humans can be defeated." The alien cruisers opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons erupted in brilliant displays of destructive energy. Particle beams lanced through space like spears of pure death. Kinetic projectiles accelerated to significant fractions of light speed. The combined firepower of 50 heavy warships converged on the Titan's hull in a display of raw power that should have vaporized any known vessel. The energy struck the Titan's shields and accomplished nothing. The defensive barriers absorbed the incoming fire like a sponge drinking water, dissipating the energy harmlessly across quantum fields that seemed to operate on principles beyond alien understanding. The massive ship didn't even seem to notice the attack. "Impossible," Krex whispered, watching his most powerful weapons fail completely. "Nothing can withstand that much concentrated firepower." The probe fleet continued their bombardment for several minutes, pouring everything they had into the Titan's shields. Plasma temperatures that could melt asteroids had no effect. Particle beams that could punch through planetary crust were absorbed without trace. The human vessel sat motionless in space, utterly unmoved by the assault. Then the Titan responded with a single, brief activation of its forward weapons array. The demonstration was surgical in its precision and terrifying in its implications. A lance of coherent energy reached out from the massive ship's bow, touching each of the 50 attacking cruisers with mathematical precision. The alien vessels found themselves completely disabled in the span of seconds. Their weapons went offline. Their engines died, their shields collapsed. Emergency power barely maintained life support systems. The crews remained unharmed, but their ships had been reduced to helpless hulks drifting in space. "All stop," Commander Krex whispered into his communicator. "All ships, cease fire. We're defenseless." The probe fleet hung in space like broken toys, testament to the Titan's overwhelming technological superiority. The human vessel had disabled 50 heavy cruisers without breaking a sweat, demonstrating restraint that was somehow more terrifying than raw destruction would have been. Admiral Torvin felt his blood turn to ice as he processed what had just happened. The Titan could have annihilated the probe fleet in seconds, turning 50 proud warships into expanding clouds of plasma and debris. Instead, it had chosen mercy, disabling the attacking vessels while leaving their crews alive. "Sir," his aide reported with a trembling voice, "the probe fleet is completely disabled. No weapons, no propulsion, no shields. But no casualties either. They're alive but helpless." The message was clear to everyone watching. The Titan possessed the power to destroy the entire alien fleet but had chosen demonstration over destruction. The human vessel had proven its superiority while showing restraint that suggested intelligence and wisdom alongside overwhelming force. "Captain Wade," Admiral Torvin broadcast on all frequencies, "your point has been made. We understand that our weapons are ineffective against your shields. Do you?" Wade replied, his voice carrying subtle menace. "Because I'm not sure you understand the full implications of what you've witnessed. The energy discharge that disabled your probe fleet represented less than 1% of our total offensive capability." The alien fleet reeled from this revelation. Ships that moments before had seemed invincible now appeared as fragile as paper boats. Their weapons, their shields, their tactical advantages had been rendered meaningless by technology that surpassed their understanding. Captain Relith's voice cracked with fear. "Admiral, we need to withdraw. This is not a battle we can win." "One ship," Commander Krex muttered, his tentacles hanging limp with defeat. "One ship has neutralized 50 of our best cruisers without taking damage? How is this possible?" "Admiral." Hayes watched the display with mixture of awe and horror. The Titan's demonstration had been brilliant in its simplicity. Rather than destroying the alien vessels, it had shown mercy while proving its absolute dominance. The psychological impact was devastating. "Captain Wade," she transmitted, "that was ... impressive, but what happens now? We still have 3,000 alien ships in our system. Now we see if they're intelligent enough to learn from what they've witnessed," Wade replied. "Admiral Torvin, you have a choice to make. You can continue this foolish assault and watch your entire fleet suffer the same fate as your probe force. Or you can acknowledge that the balance of power has shifted and begin considering alternatives to warfare." The alien fleet hung in space, their commanders struggling to process the new reality. Their military superiority had been proven false. Their technological advantage had been revealed as primitive. Everything they thought they knew about humanity had been shattered by a single demonstration. Admiral Torvin stared at the tactical display, knowing that his next decision would determine the fate of multiple civilizations. The Titan waited patiently, its massive form a silent reminder that humanity had evolved beyond their expectations. The war had reached a turning point that none of them could have imagined. The age of alien dominance was ending, and something new was about to begin. The silence that followed the Titan's demonstration stretched across the void like a held breath. 3,000 alien warships hung motionless in space, their commanders grappling with a reality that had shifted beneath their feet. The probe fleet drifted helplessly nearby, a stark reminder that everything they thought they knew about warfare had become obsolete in the span of minutes. "Admiral," Torvin felt the weight of galactic history pressing down on him as he studied the tactical display. The combined might of 12 civilizations had been reduced to irrelevance by a single human vessel. His 4 eyes traced the Titan's massive outline, trying to comprehend technology that operated beyond his understanding. "Sir," his aide whispered, "the fleet commanders are requesting orders. They want to know whether we're retreating or regrouping." Torvin said nothing for long moments, his mind racing through possibilities that all led to the same conclusion. The alien coalition had 2 choices: accept their technological inferiority or face annihilation. There was no middle ground, no tactical solution that could overcome the gap between their capabilities and humanity's hidden strength. Captain Wade's voice cut through the tension like a blade through silk. "Admiral Torvin, I understand you're facing a difficult decision. Perhaps it would help if you understood the full scope of what you're confronting." The main display aboard every alien vessel suddenly showed star charts that stretched beyond the galaxy's rim. Dozens of markers indicated human installations in the deep void, shipyards and research stations that had remained hidden for decades. The scope of the Deep Space Initiative was staggering, suggesting a civilization that had quietly surpassed everything the galaxy thought possible. "The Titan is not alone," Wade continued. 11 sister ships patrol the outer reaches, each one equipped with the same technology you've witnessed today. Beyond them, our deep space colonies support millions of humans who have never known the limitations of planetary gravity or resource scarcity. Commander Krex's tentacles writhed with despair as he processed the implications. Impossible. Our intelligence networks would have detected such massive construction projects. "Your intelligence networks monitor known space," Wade replied. "We've been operating in regions your species have never explored, using resources you've never cataloged. While you fought wars over established territories, we were building the infrastructure necessary to ensure humanity's survival." The revelation hit the alien fleet like a physical blow. They had thought they were facing a desperate last stand by a dying civilization. Instead, they had discovered that humanity had quietly evolved into something that dwarfed their combined civilizations. Admiral Hayes felt tears streaming down her face as she realized the magnitude of what had been hidden from her. "Captain Wade, why reveal this now? Why not before the colonies fell?" "Because the colonies had to fall," Wade replied, his voice carrying infinite sadness. "The alien coalition had to believe they were winning, had to commit their full strength to this final assault. Only by facing your combined might could we demonstrate that the age of conquest is over." The words cut deep, but Hayes understood the brutal logic. The Deep Space Initiative had sacrificed the colonies to maintain their secret, allowing thousands to die so that humanity as a whole could survive. The mathematics were clear, even if the moral weight was crushing. "Admiral Torvin," Wade continued, "you came here to destroy humanity's last stronghold. Instead, you've discovered that humanity has transcended the limitations that once bound us. The question now is what you plan to do with this knowledge." Torvin felt the eyes of his subordinates boring into him, waiting for guidance that he wasn't sure he could provide. The tactical situation had become impossible. Retreat would mean admitting defeat without accomplishing their mission. Advance would mean leading 3,000 ships to certain destruction. "What do you propose?" he asked finally, his voice heavy with the weight of command. "A new understanding," Wade replied. "The technologies that created the Titan and her sister ships could benefit all species willing to embrace cooperation over conquest. We're not seeking revenge for the colonies you destroyed or the lives you took. We're offering partnership in building something greater than any of us could achieve alone." The offer hung in space like a bridge over an impossible chasm. Captain Rilith was the first to speak, his reptilian features showing confusion and hope. "In equal measure, you're offering to share your technology after we invaded your space and destroyed your colonies?" "We're offering to share our future," Wade corrected. "The galaxy is vast, filled with wonders that none of us have yet discovered. The energy we've spent fighting each other could be redirected toward exploration and advancement. The choice is yours." Admiral Torvin found himself facing the most important decision in galactic history. The alien coalition could continue their war against an enemy that had proven its overwhelming superiority, or they could acknowledge that the balance of power had shifted permanently. "Sir," his aide reported quietly, "I'm receiving communications from the other fleet commanders. They're asking for guidance." Torvin looked at the tactical display one last time, seeing not enemy positions but potential allies. The Titan's demonstration had shown not just advanced technology but also restraint and wisdom. The human vessel could have destroyed the probe fleet but had chosen mercy instead. "All ships," he announced on the fleet command frequency, "stand down from combat alert. We're withdrawing to a safe distance to consider our options." The order rippled through the alien fleet like a wave of relief. 3,000 warships began their withdrawal, not in defeat but in recognition that the old rules of warfare no longer applied. Some species accepted the new reality immediately, understanding that cooperation offered better prospects than continued conflict. Captain Wade's voice followed them as they withdrew. "Admiral Torvin, you've made a wise decision. When you're ready to discuss the future, we'll be here." The alien fleet established a holding position at the edge of the solar system, their commanders struggling to process the implications of what they had witnessed. The war that had raged for 2 years was effectively over, ended not by destruction, but by the revelation that humanity had surpassed them all. Lieutenant Cole watched his sensors with amazement as the massive alien armada withdrew to a respectful distance. "Admiral Hayes, they're maintaining position at 10 million kilometers, no hostile movements detected." Hayes nodded slowly, still trying to process everything that had happened. The desperate last stand she had prepared for had transformed into something entirely different. Earth was safe, but the questions raised by the Titan's appearance would reshape everything they thought they knew about their own species. "Captain Wade," she transmitted, "what happens now? Where do we go from here?" "Now we begin the real work," Wade replied. "The war was just the first step. Building a lasting peace will require effort from all of us." Over the following hours, delegations from various alien species began transmitting requests for communication. The Vorthan Empire wanted to discuss technological exchanges. The Meltari Confederation sought assurances about territorial boundaries. Smaller species that had been forced into the coalition asked about protection from more aggressive neighbors. Captain Wade handled each communication with patience and wisdom, laying the groundwork for a new galactic order. The Titan served as both symbol and guarantee of humanity's commitment to peace through strength. "The age of conquest is ending," Wade announced during a general broadcast to all ships. "The technologies we've developed make territorial warfare obsolete. There are infinite worlds beyond the galaxy's edge, infinite resources waiting to be discovered. The energy we've spent fighting each other could transform the galaxy into something magnificent." Admiral Torvin found himself leading negotiations for the alien coalition, a role he had never expected to fill. The tactical genius who had planned humanity's destruction now worked to forge a lasting peace with the species he had underestimated. "Captain Wade," he transmitted during one of their private conversations, "my species has spent centuries believing that strength comes from conquest. You're asking us to abandon everything we think we know about power. I'm asking you to evolve." Wade replied, "The same way humanity evolved when we realized that our survival depended on looking beyond the known galaxy. True strength comes from growth, not domination." The negotiations continued for days, with representatives from 12 species working to establish new frameworks for coexistence. The Titan remained on station throughout, a silent reminder of the consequences of choosing conflict over cooperation. Some species embraced the new reality immediately, eager to benefit from human technology and join the exploration initiatives. Others required more time to process the fundamental changes in galactic politics. A few maintained hostile attitudes, but their voices carried little weight when faced with the overwhelming evidence of humanity's technological superiority. The probe fleet that had been disabled during the demonstration was restored to full functionality as a gesture of goodwill. Commander Krex found himself personally thanking the human engineers who repaired his ships, a humbling experience that changed his perspective on the war completely. "We came here to destroy you," he admitted to Wade during the repair operations. "Instead, you've shown us possibilities we never imagined." "That's what exploration is about," Wade replied. "Discovering things you never imagined were possible." As the formal agreements took shape, Admiral Hayes began to understand the true scope of the Deep Space Initiative. The colonies that had fallen were being rebuilt with advanced technology that would make them more prosperous than ever before. The shipyards beyond the galaxy's rim were constructing vessels that would carry mixed crews of humans and aliens to explore uncharted regions of space. "The war is over," she announced to Earth's defenders during a general assembly. "Not because we won or lost, but because we've all grown beyond the need for such conflicts." The Titan finally began its departure from Earth's orbital space, its mission complete. The massive vessel had accomplished something that no amount of traditional warfare could have achieved. It had transformed enemies into potential allies and ended a war without firing a shot in anger. Captain Wade's final transmission to both fleets carried a message of hope that would resonate throughout galactic history. The future belongs to those willing to reach beyond the familiar, to explore the unknown, to build rather than destroy. The Deep Space Initiative extends an invitation to all species ready to embrace that future. The alien fleet began its own departure, but not in defeat. Ship commanders who had arrived as conquerors left as partners in humanity's greatest adventure. The galaxy would never be the same. Lieutenant Cole watched the last alien vessels disappear into hyperspace, then turned to observe the Titan as it prepared for its own journey back to the deep void. "Admiral, do you think we'll see them again?" Hayes smiled for the first time. "In years, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of each other in the years to come. The galaxy just got a lot bigger, and we're all going to need each other to explore it." The Titan vanished into the darkness as mysteriously as it had arrived, leaving behind a transformed galaxy where the age of conquest had ended and the age of exploration had begun. Humanity had revealed itself not as the primitive species their enemies had believed, but as a civilization that had quietly transcended the limitations that bound the older races. The war was over, but the future had only just begun.